You see how we're coming in front of the first part, because that's the field in the distance. The first part of yellow is the meadow in the distance. So our trees will actually cover that. And we'll just get a little inkling of it. I've decided, as you can see, I've gone all the way around. I was going to leave it short, but we'll do that. Right, so we've got the bones down. We've got, I'm just thinking, that's roughly where we'll start our trees. Now, a nice little technique for doing trees, I'll show you, is if you get a flat brush and just get a little bit more of that brown mixed up. Now, while these are drying, they need to get to a certain point actually, which they're not at yet. So I'll just wait a little bit longer to do that. In fact, I'll just use a couple of minutes getting these dry and this foreground dry, because I want to put the masking fluid on there, and time's kind of running away with us. So I'll be a couple of minutes. Right, so you saw, by the way, how I was pushing the water around, and you can make a few more branches with the hairdryer as you're going. So these are now actually, yeah, just about right for doing this little technique. Now, I'm going to stick with this brown, and I'm just going to add, in some places it's dried and some places it hasn't. But what this will do is it'll obviously add to the depth of colour, but it'll also dry in textures. Now, even though when you take a picture into the sun, or when you look into the sun, everything kind of goes black, doesn't it, in front? Well, that's not how it is in reality, is it? So you don't go that dark. You go dark, of course, because we want to make the impression of the sun being here. But you don't go black or dark grey or really darks. You just build it up as you go. But can you see how that new wash of brown is going into the old wash? This is a tree that came down last night, I think. And that'll create like bark effects. So these trees, they were disappearing at the bottom into the daffodils. And this is the effect I'm hoping to achieve. And I think it's going to take a bit longer than usual. So I hope, well, if you've not got the time to stick with me, it'll be broadcast on Facebook, so you can find out where you're up to and check out how I finished up. So now you can see, I think, that by darkening these trees a little bit, that meadow effect is starting to happen. We've got the blue for the trees in the distance, and then there's a little, about a ½ inch strip of yellow where there was a total field of daffodils. It was quite blinding actually with the sun on them. So you can see now I'm darkening them up. And creating textures, but I'm certainly not actually at this area. We're going to put some bigger trees. I'm going to use my hate for that because the trees did come forward here. I'll leave that side, but I think I'll put some kind of bigger trees to give it depth. So I'm starting again with the brown. I've got my hake loaded. Okay, so just let that run up and down. And they're nowhere near finished yet. I do want them a lot darker than that, but you're getting the idea, aren't you? So while that's drying now, I'm taking a chance here doing this live, but I'm going to use masking fluid just to keep some of this rich yellow alive, you know, because I want to put some shadows. The sun's here coming through the trees, so all the shadows of the trees are going to be shown and they'll be going over, but I want some of the daffodils I want to be really bright, so I'm just going to use this old screw just to describe a few daffodil shapes. They don't have to be perfect daffodil shapes, you know. And just, I get a bit carried away with this stuff. Some nice yellow there. What's a daffodil? It's kind of like a star shape, isn't it? See, it's a death to a watercolour, you know, trying to do too much detail. So I'm using this screw. It was the first thing to hand. I wasn't intending doing any masking, but and we won't actually see the benefit of this work until the end. All right, we'll stick at that for now. I wish it, no, that's fine. One thing I want to highlight, there'd be a highlight in there, you know, where the sun's on the meadow in the distance. So I just want to make sure that doesn't get muddied up during the painting process. Don't know if you can hear the wind. It's really, we've got a storm, another storm coming through. Right, so I'll leave the masking at that. It's literally just to show a few highlights when we've darkened all the backing up. Right, so I think I'm happy where I'm up to. When this is dry, we'll start developing the green.